Wow, we're well into the dog days of summer now. So let's go inside from the 95-degree weather and sit down with some ice cream as I answer questions put to me by $5 supporters on Patreon and Subscribestar in the month of July. If you'd like to ask me whatever, just use the links in the description and become a supporter at the $5 level. Let's start off with a couple of questions from Subscribestar. Agony asks, my favorite video by you was made in September 2012, Is It Okay to Laugh at Rape Jokes and Drunk Driving Jokes. It is a shame that it has less than 4,000 views. Is there any way of updating it or promoting it so that more people watch this important video? I don't really know what I could do with updating it. When I recorded it, I made things very personal for me and I tried to let those emotions come through. I think if I were to redo it or update it, it wouldn't sound as genuine. Even if I just did a straight re-up, these days it's really only the subscribers who see it, as fewer and fewer videos from independent creators like myself end up in the related videos. So it really won't get the boost that new uploads used to. Plus, pretty much anything dealing with rape these days is like an instant shadow ban, especially if you're going against the SJWs as this video does. So I think the best thing you can do is share it with as many people as you can, and remember that my videos are released under a Creative Commons license, so if you want to upload it somewhere you think more people will see it, feel free. Cause I'm really jazzed that you like the video so much, and I really think it is important and it probably could help people. And so I think it's more important for the video to be spread around and be seen than it is for me to make money off of it. So thanks for any support you can give to it. Nick asks, what is your take on the communist distinction between personal and private property? Basically, there is no distinction. I've tried pinning them down on this. If I have a hammer and I use it to fix my house, it's personal property. But if I use it as part of my business hiring carpenters to fix other people's houses, it's private property, even though it's the same hammer. When you go step by step from my own hammer fixing my own house to hiring carpenters, where does it actually go from being personal property to being private property? The only response I've ever gotten from communists is evasion and talking points. And they're the kind of talking points that are designed to prevent them from realizing they're confused. They'll say things like, oh, it's the point where the worker is exploited, or the point where you're taking surplus value. But if they can't actually specify where that is, then there's no meaning behind it. It's just phlogiston, just a word you use to fill in the blanks so that you don't actually have to think about the parts that don't make sense. It prevents them from realizing they're confused, and if you can't be confused, then you can't be more confused by fiction than reality. Okay, over to Patreon. Tomasz Urbański asks, my question is about how people could have dealt with scams in Ancapistan, and where's the boundary of accepted action? And he gives a case and he says, then we have a case where people weren't forced to do something, download an app, but were tricked into believing something false, that they have to download it in order for a device to work properly in the long run, and they took action based on that belief. So what then? That's fraud. Cases of fraud are NAP violations. And you can read about this in Murray Rothbard's books, The Ethics of Liberty and For a New Liberty. You can absolutely act to recoup any costs or damage you experienced as a result. In this case, Samsung could certainly claim damages to their reputation. You might even be able to claim damages for whatever the app was doing to your device. There's really no difference here. It's a NAP violation, pure and simple. Pipsqueak asks, what are your thoughts on animal rights? I've already talked about this quite a bit before, so I'll just summarize. Rights are something possessed by sapient entities capable of acting responsibly. The moment animals act in such a manner, they have rights. Until then, we don't have to let the bulls into the china shops. Josh Havins asks, could you respond to the points made in this video? It's one of those automation is going to take all the jobs. We used to find new, better jobs, but this time it's different. Yeah, I gotta love the people who keep saying, this time it's different. You know what keeps happening over and over and over again? It ends up not being different, because natural law doesn't change. In this case, Say's law still holds. The foundational principles of economics still apply. Resources are still limited. Desires are still unlimited. So there is always room for a job for anyone who can help fulfill someone else's unmet desires. It's just a lump of labor fallacy. Look at the ridiculous example he uses. Cars put horses out of work, and there aren't as many horses being put to work as a result. But, and pardon me if I'm being too controversial here, horses are not people. People can learn new skills. People can invent new products. People can start their own businesses. And we also have the idiocy that low-skilled jobs won't be replaced. The stupid thing is he uses as an example, quote, sitting in front of a screen and typing and clicking. Hello! That job didn't even exist 200 years ago. As we make new technological developments, we make new low-skilled jobs too, because there are new tasks we need doing, but it takes a while to develop the technology to do it automatically. No, low-skilled jobs are not lost. No one is doing the low-skilled jobs we had 500 years ago. Economic effects create new low-skilled jobs as well as new high-skilled jobs. As if that wasn't stupid enough, he talks about robots taking over creative jobs. Even if they can, so what? A symphony written by a robot might well be as good as a symphony written by a human, but it wouldn't be the same symphony. Mozart and Beethoven both wrote great symphonies. There's still room to listen to both. Mozart's symphonies already existed in Beethoven's time, and yet there was still a market for Beethoven to write more. This guy hasn't even taken 2 minutes to think through what he's saying. And even if his completely moronic scenario happened, even if robots got to the point where they could take over every single job, both skilled and unskilled, that would be the best of all possible worlds, because the only way that could happen is if everyone's desire was instantly fulfilled by a robot of some kind. Then no one would be working, but no one would have to work. Every single person on the planet would automatically be fed, clothed, and have health care and everything else they need and want. And that would free them to pursue whatever interests they want. If you're going to make a claim like that, you need to cover these ramifications. And none of them do. None of them cover Say's law, or the foundational principles of economics, or say how it's not the lump of labor fallacy, or deal with the fact that their nightmare scenario would in fact be an ideal. They never do that. And finally, Pierre asks, what are your thoughts on male and female genital mutilation, aka circumcision? Against. For both. Come on, you're talking about mutilating a baby's genitals. What possible justification can there be for that? All of the supposed medical benefits have been debunked, and in most cases there are lasting ramifications, however mild. The thing that really pisses me off about this subject is feminists who are justly wanting to stop female genital mutilation in the third world, but don't even want to stop male genital mutilation in the first world. This is another case where it has become their issue, a woman's issue, and how dare you misogynistic men intrude just because people are amputating parts from male babies too. It really pisses me off when they go on about how female genital mutilation is so much worse than male. Well, for the sake of the argument, let's say it is. So what? You're still cutting into a baby's genitals without any good reason to do so. That's always bad. This is how psychopathic identity politics makes people get. Okay, calming down, blood pressure falling. I'm good. And that's it for another month. Thanks for listening, and as always, the best way to support this channel is by sharing the video and channel links with everyone you know. YouTube's been unfairly excluding independent creators like myself from lists like their related videos, so anything you can do to help make up for it will be wonderful. And of course, you can always go to donate.bogosity.tv and support by donating with PayPal or crypto, or becoming a regular supporter at Patreon or Subscribestar, or simply by downloading BitTube's airtime extension using the link at the bottom and having that extension active when you watch my videos and the videos and websites of all the other creators you like. Thanks again, and until next time, stay strong and be free.